Going back to the elastoribs, I've got this placed where I want it. I've got my needle and thread ready to go. Now, I do have an extra tail here. This is the extra piece, and I don't want to keep this on here. So I'm actually going to cut this off, but I'm going to cut it. I don't want to cut it at the edge of the shoe because then I'm going to have a frayed edge, which I'll have to burn. So I'm actually going to cut it about in line with the drawstring casing. So I'm just going to carefully, it doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line, but I like to do this once I'm actually in place with the shoe, so I know that I'm right. So now, holding my shoe, you cannot see the end that I cut, but if I fold it back, you can. So now, I'm gonna take that, I was just holding it in with my needle and thread. A safety pin would be a better choice, but I'm gonna take this apart, and if you want to, before you do that, you can take a pen and mark on the inside, which you will never see. I'm gonna say my corner is gonna go here, and my other corner is gonna go right here. That's where my corners are gonna go, if you can see it, off to the side. There we are. And I'm gonna mark on my ribbons themselves because I'm gonna take them out and burn them. So this was the part that I just cut. If I pull on it at all, it already is fraying. There we go, I'm out of frame again. So as before, very gentle, just brush it across the end. Give it just a second, a little warm. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do the other end. I know that these elastoribs, I'm not gonna probably need to cut this. If your ribbons were really long and you were going to need to cut the ends of these again, there wouldn't be a point in burning it, cutting it, burning it, doing that process over and over again. Now also from the factory, these have just enough kind of, I don't think they've burned them, but there's some kind of adhesive or something on here that's preventing them from fraying. I like to still give them a little bit. Again, doesn't take much. So back to my short end. I don't know if you guys could see, but long end, short end. So here's my marks where I had my pen before. Just gonna fold that so it tucks back under. I've got my shoe with my pen marks, so I'm just gonna align my marks right here. Now if I want to, I can go ahead and test it again. I can slide my foot right in there and make sure it looks good. Also, the other thing you wanna do at this point, because I almost messed it up, is make sure that your ribbon is facing the direction that you want. See, most of the time, generally, people want the shiny side out. In the elastoribs, there is a front and a back side as well. And the back side of the ribbon is more matte. I like the shiny side out. I think it feels better. That's how I'm gonna sew mine. So I'm gonna flip it. And I'm gonna tuck it so that the little inside piece this edge is against my shoe. Again, all preferences. These are just things I've learned that work for me. So we're ready to get sewing. So very much like with the elastics, we're going to take our needle and thread, which I've already prepared, and it is fine, in my opinion, to sew through the shoe up against the casing here, but I try not to do it all the way around. So from the inside of the shoe, everything's lined up. I am just going to go straight through a few times.